Well, prior to the passage of Measure Z, the Sheriff's Office patrol function was deployed to all areas of our county out of our main office in Eureka. And we were unable to provide services, dedicated patrol services, to our outlying areas such as Hoopa, Willow Creek, Garberville. And what that meant for us is we were responding to calls for service on a priority basis. So Measure Z has allowed us to return to dedicated staffing levels countywide and 24-hour coverage in most areas of the county. And what that means for our communities is, quite frankly, they're safer now than they were a year ago, and we're providing better services, and we continue to build on that.
My name is Michael Lake. I'm with the Brooklyn Ridge Volunteer Fire Company. I am the fire chief, been fire chief for the last 15 years. Been with the fire company about 22. And I'm here to say that the Z funding has been outstanding for us. We've been able to acquire our SCBAs. The week we got them, we were able to put them up in our firehouse. Our very next meeting, we trained with them, and I had a volunteer that had never put one on before, so he was able to train quite a bit that evening. Did really good. Everybody felt great when we were done training with the new equipment. Put the equipment away, put it in our truck, and headed home. About 12 hours later, the alarm goes off. We had a structure fire. So with this, we loaded everything up, went, bought the structure fire, managed to save most of the house. We only lost part of it. And we were able to use the new SCBAs. My firefighter, you would have never known he'd worked for 7 hours on mop up, cleaning this place up with that SCBA on, changing tanks. Very exciting. He was just happy to be able to do it and have the equipment to do it. If it wouldn't have been for the SCBAs, we would have had to depend totally on other fire companies to come in and try to do mop up, get inside and do the attack. Whereas with this equipment, we were able to perform like a qualified fire company can perform.
To date, with the Measure Z money that we've gotten, we've repaired or chip sealed about 20 miles of road. Did some slurry seal up in the north in the urban areas, and with what we're projected to get, we're going to do another 20 miles of road, and we're planning on hitting all the areas that are in the worst shape. Measure Z's made a big difference in our project because we've been consistently cut in half from our normal funding, which is the gas tax money. And this year's no different. We're going to be cut again in half. And so without the Measure Z money, we're looking at turning more roads back to dirt. I think the public has seen what we've done and likes it. I mean, we've gotten lots of good reviews on what we've done so far. We're way far behind. The estimate was $255 million or something like that to even get us up to usable roads. And so that's where we're at, and that's what our plans are, is to continue on the route we've been doing.
Hey, my name is Rod Johnson. I'm the EMS Director for Comal Medical Center Hoopa Ambulance. Because of the funding we've received from Measure Z, Hoopa has been able to maintain a fully staffed advanced life support ambulance in the Willow Creek area. Due to our long transport times with critical patients, North Coast EMS in the state of California has allowed us to carry medications that the other ambulance service are not required to carry. Our transport times out of the Willow Creek area are anywhere from 45 minutes to 1 hour, longer if we're out in the outlining areas. Willow Creek call volume from July to December 2015. Motor vehicle accidents are at 31, injuries are at 16, medical calls are at 119, giving a total of 166 calls between that time period. We cannot express how important Measure Z is for our rural community. That Hoopa is proud to serve. Thank you very much for your support.
With the additional funding from Measure Z, the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program has been able to provide education to our community about the signs and symptoms of elder abuse. Since we are in the nursing homes and the assisted living facilities on a regular basis, the residents come to know and trust us. So if there should be a report of suspected elder abuse, whether it's physical or financial, we can go in first and determine if it in fact had happened, and then we can contact law enforcement for the appropriate steps to be taken. This leaves our law enforcement officers out in the community where they belong until needed.
Our project was a part-time position that did front office clerical work, plus worked on our nuisance abatement issues. And the idea behind it was to free up officer time to get our officers into the field, responding to calls, conducting investigations. From the public perspective, our police officers are out in the street more. The cars out in the field more, sort of patrolling more, responding to calls for service more, and less time in the office, conducting or doing the paperwork associated with the police report, or doing the follow-up associated with our code enforcement. On average, we take somewhere in the neighborhood of 450 calls for service, or not calls for service, 450 crime cases each year. And what Measure Z did is that the number of reports that we're going to take isn't changed by having this part-time position. You know, we're getting the calls or we're not getting the calls, and that's about the number of calls that we take. And what this does is it allows the officer to spend more time on the calls, more time in the field, more time conducting investigations. This last year, we were able to accomplish more search warrants than we have in any other previous year with the number of people that we have right now. It has everything to do with having somebody in the front office, handling the phone calls, processing the police reports, and following up on our code enforcement issues, which I don't think we would have been able to accomplish what we did without the Measure Z funding.
Yeah, Bill Damiano with the probation department, and basically what we put our application in for was funding for 6 positions, 6 probation officer positions. It was essentially restoring positions that we had lost over the last 6-7 years of budget cuts. The result of those cuts were that we had larger caseloads and a lesser ability to supervise offenders in the community. So with these additional 6 positions, it'll reduce caseload sizes, add to the manpower so we can get out in the field more and supervise people within the community. Additionally, what we were hoping is that by having smaller caseloads, our officers would be more able to implement the evidence-based practices that we've been training them in. So using cognitive behavioral intervention, working one-on-one with them, getting them connected with treatment services or jobs or whatever the case may be, whatever the needs are that will keep them from committing additional offenses. So keep the community safer.
So Measure Z, which provided to the DA's office $1.5 million, allowed us to fill 11 positions. We had a number of positions frozen over the years when the county went through some really tough budget times. And what happened is over time we lost a number of deputy DA positions, investigative positions, and clerical support positions. Those 11 positions were allowed to be filled and funded, as well as we had a number of homicide cases that needed to go to trial, and those are very expensive to try. Between bringing witnesses from out of the area as well as expert witnesses, it's a significant cost. And so the $1.5 million allowed us to not only fund positions, but fund those trials. And that's been a huge help to us as well as to the community. And it's directly impacted public safety because we have now the staff we need to address the issues that the victims have and witnesses have with cases, as well as to pay for those trials to go to trial.
That's a good point.
NIST was designed as a better way to collaborate with law enforcement and other community providers, as opposed to expecting people to access services through the traditional system of care. By meeting them in the community, we're able to link them more effectively to those services. By collaborating with law enforcement, we're able to approach people in a more friendly manner as opposed to relying on enforcement efforts and involuntary hospitalizations. We're able to offer them other community-based services to avoid those more restrictive options.
Now with Measure Z funding, Officer Rabang is able to be fully committed to our program, which I think has allowed for us to build better relationships with people on the streets.
And because of the Measure Z fund, I feel that we've been able to have that relationship with people on the streets versus more of an enforcement standard. Now I'm able to actually have that dialogue with people, get to know these individuals instead of just a law enforcement standard. A lot of the people that I thought was just constantly problems within the city of Eureka, they have stories, and a lot of them have mental illness that I didn't know before. So now taking the time to listen, I built that relationship with these people, and it is becoming a Measure Z. If I was there alone or with another officer, everybody would be hiding because they're like, oh, they're out here to arrest somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But now, with that, our relationship and us being seen in our presence and being open, I think that people are more inclined to stop and talk to us. So yeah, definitely.